Let glory shine. From the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom. This is my climb. Let glory shine. It's the power inside.
Hello and welcome back to Let Glory Shine. I'm your host, Martha Glory, and I'm here for another amazing episode. I'm so excited about today's guest. I know I say that every week almost, but there's just some guests that come on that literally take your breath away because of the alignment, of the divine timing of our interaction, of our connection. And so I'm getting ready to bring on Zoraida Morales. Y'all, if you don't know her, you should connect with her immediately after you finish watching the show because there is something so tangibly amazing in her message. So I can't wait for you to hear a little bit about her story, but her testimony is way more than a story because when we live it on purpose, it becomes a testimony because we've been through the test that make it that testimony. So welcome to the show, Zoraida. So nice to have you.
Oh my God, it is so good to see you again. Um, Thank you for having me, Martha. Um, I've been looking forward to this ever since our last conversation at the well, we had when we had brunch. It just enlightened me, and it helped me feel that I'm not alone in my message and in my mission, because sometimes it feels that way. And I'm so honored to be on this road with you, this to walk alongside with you and helping community, right? And that way we can impact the world.
Yes. I think
So
so
thank you.
often we get stuck in our aloneness, right? Like we feel like we almost have to be the martyr to carry the cross or to carry the burden or to carry the message. And the truth is that God didn't create us to carry anything alone. Nothing. We're created to build community, to build authentic, heart centered relationships because that's how we make an impact. That's how we transform lives. That's how we help others is by teaming up, by building that community. So, we were talking before we hit record, and I always love those first brief few minutes because there's always something that God's like, you thought you knew what you were talking about, but you didn't, right? Like, I just love that awe, right? I get to be in awe every single day of God's grace, of his mercy, of his loving kindness, and of divine timing. And so we were talking before we hit record about flow. And you were like, you said flow 3 times. And I'll let you tell the audience why flow is so important to you. But what we were sharing before that is that we are taught and conditioned from a very young age that life is going to be difficult and you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and you got to work hard and you got to grind it out and you got to do it, do it, do. And what I'm realizing and what you're realizing is that so much more comes when you step back out of the grind and into the flow, because that's where our soul knows us best. And that is always
Yes.
where our highest and our best comes from that soul level of flow. So tell
Yes.
me what flow means to you.
Oh my God. You said it so beautifully. Flow for me is giving myself permission to pause, giving myself permission to rest. It's that ebb and that flow, right? It's not the hustle and grinding anymore. And look, I'm a kid from the South Bronx of New York City, born in the 60s, born into generational poverty. I know about grinding, right? Hustling. I was brought up that way. Come on, you can do it. Stop being lazy. You're bored? Here's something to do, right? Remember that? I mean, I'm an original latchkey kid. Yes, I'm from that generation. And so I grew up that way. I understand now, Martha, why my parent did that for me. And I say for me. You see the
Yeah.
reframe? I say for me because I was born into generational poverty, and my mother went to college at night in the 70s and 80s for 10 years with 4 kids under 6 years old. And so she was divorced with a deadbeat ex-husband who wasn't paying child support. And she had to hustle and grind to get us out of poverty for us. She did it for us as well as herself. But then we just kept doing it. I mean, I worked in finance. I worked 10, 12-hour days, and I went to college at night, hustle and grinding until I got a cancer diagnosis. And guess what? I was still hustling and grinding while taking chemo for 13 years until something shifted.
Yep.
Something inside of me, and again, these are the oh my God, these are the messages that we're getting from source, right? Your archangels, your God, your ancestors, um, the babies that I miscarried, they're all speaking to me. And someone whispered in my ear and said, how do you want to live? What are you hungry for? What do you need that you don't have, and how do you get it? Martha, can I tell you, it took me 2 years to really answer that question. These are not easy questions to answer. 2 years later, because I kept Googling it, right? Well, because I just wanted ideas. And one day it just, while I was lying on my bed, looking at the ceiling and just being, it came to me. I wanted peace right here. Love right here. And joy, because the joy is my birthright.
Mm.
And that's when I started to learn we don't have to hustle anymore. We don't have to grind anymore. We are going to ebb and flow.
Mm. That's powerful. That's powerful. So many things that you said that I don't want to miss because it's so important. You said something shifted. Each of us that are sharing our testimony from a place of where we were to where we are, there's a shift. There's always a moment where we had to make a choice. We had to make a choice to whether we consciously or subconsciously said, I'm ending the generational curse here and now, and I'm choosing different for my next generation, right? And for me, right? There's always a moment where we had to shift. And then to have to ask that question of how do I want to live? That is the $1 million question, right? Because we do have choice. We do get to ask ourselves those questions. And yes, it takes time to discover that. Because in order to discover that, we have to undo all the things we thought we were. We have to undo all the identities that we've carried from the unfortunate circumstances and events that have happened in our life. Trauma, right? All the identities that we took on because of said events. We have to undo all of those things in order to truly get back in touch with how do I want to live? How do I want to live out the rest of this beautiful existence in this physical meat suit that I'm in now, right? How
Yes.
do I want to live it out? So, so, so important. So when you get the answer, then it took you 2 years. It took me about 10. But once you get that and you realize it was always in here the entire time.
Always.
You just had to reclaim it, re-identify with it, rediscover it. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And no one can ever take that away from you again. Because once you claim it as your birthright, like joy is my birthright, you said, once you claim it as your birthright, no one can take it away from you. The
Yeah.
only way that you ever lose it again is if you make the choice that there's something else more important. So
And
talk to me about your birthright, Zoraida. Tell me about your birthright.
you know, it all started with me, right? Reclaiming had nothing to do with my ex-husband, my parents, my friends. the world, no, nothing. It had to do with me. So I had to make a mindset shift. And I made the heart the leader and the mind and ego to follow and support. Because
Mm.
I grew up, again, in fight or flight. I grew up leading with my mind and ego. Okay, what do we got to do? We got to do. We got to go to college. Okay, let's do it. Okay, we got to go. We have to work in this company. Let's do it. We have to work 10-hour days. We're going to do it. We're going to sacrifice ourselves. And I think about joy, right? Thinking I had to earn joy, right? And so I was always in that mind frame of what do I have to do? What do I have to do? So ironically enough, when I got the cancer diagnosis at 45 years old, my question to the oncologist or hematologist, because I met with her first, I said, what do I have to do? Because I was still operating from my old traumas. And let me just preface by saying that traumas are big traumas and little traumas, right? When they don't always have to be overt.
No.
And I was also operating from those limiting beliefs because that's what we do when a life event happens. So I kept asking, what do I have to do? I have to take chemo? Okay, what do I have to do? I have to stop working? Okay, what do I have to do? And so I just kept doing it, doing what I did before chemo. Because, and let me just say that, I had a 3 and a 6-year-old. So I wasn't just doing this for me. I wanted to live for them, right? And I was, I was surrounded by people, and this happens a lot, who wanted me to stay the same. They wanted
Mm.
for me to keep giving the way I normally gave because I'm a natural giver, but I didn't have the stamina, Martha, and I didn't have the energy, and I just didn't have it anymore. And I didn't want to. I was exhausted. And for once, I had to put myself first. I had to learn devotion to self. And that shifted everything for me. I don't even know if I answered your question. I got so wrapped up in it. But that devotion to self, that's like the core of what I teach, right? It's here. Not to say that what's happening in the world you're not affected by, and what's happening with your friends and your loved ones, it's not affecting you. But where does self-worth really come from? Here. So I had to put my mind and ego to follow and support the heart. So now the heart makes the final decision. The heart does not take a back seat. So let me give you an example. When a person doesn't take a compliment, or let me reframe, when a person doesn't accept a compliment and receive the compliment and then experience that compliment, it's your mind and ego going, you don't need that right now. We've got other important things to do because you're not important. What? That's how my mind was when I was pre-cancer. And so now I understand that when someone does pay me a compliment, I want to honor them, right? I want to receive it because not only am I doing myself an injustice by not receiving it, because, when my heart feels happy, my heart tingles. I don't know about yours, but my fingers tingle and I get goosebumps. And like right now, I'm talking to you about this. I get all excited and passionate about it. And so when I do not receive a compliment, what I'm telling the person really is, you're not worthy of me even responding to your comment. So guess what happens? When you keep doing that to a person, the person stops. The person stops complimenting you because they're feeling disgruntled that, hey, I'm always showing up for this person and letting them know how I feel about them, and they're not receiving it in the spirit that I am giving it. So I'm going to stop because I am going to devote to self. You see how that works?
But I think even more important than the person giving the compliments is we're telling our subconscious, you're not worthy of the compliment. You're not
Exactly.
good enough for the compliment. That's
Yeah.
not true. They're just being nice, right? All of that negative self-talk is training our brain and training our consciousness to say this is true, this is real.
Yeah.
And that's all conditioning. That's
It's
all
all
things,
conditioning.
right? And that has to be unwired, rewired to understand the true identity of who we are and who we
Yeah.
deserve to be, right? Like that's true devotion to self.
Yeah. And do you know that 60 to 70% of people, studies have shown to not think they're worthy, including myself. I was one of them. I didn't think I was worthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 62 and I'm still have moments of, you're going to do that? And I have to catch myself. Yes. You know why? Because I'm protected. I'm
Mm.
loved. This is, I'm not doing this alone. I have to reframe. I mean, I teach from lived experience, just like you do. It's a reframe. It's a constant reframe. It doesn't end just because all of a sudden you're enlightened. This is an ongoing process because, again, as you mentioned, this is rewiring. And for some of us, a lot of us, it's rewiring from our generational stuff. So I've been working with generational stuff. And so, I made the heart the leader. And I have to lovingly tell my mind, hey, remember, we talked about this. I love you. I know you're trying to protect me, right? You don't want me to be disappointed. You don't want me to feel that frustration again. I get it, but things are different now. And we're different. And we've got support here. We are loved here. So we got this. So let's reframe.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Powerful.
people
Yes.
who people who knew me before I got enlightened are going, what? What the heck is she talking about? I've never seen her like this.
Yes. And you get that, Zoraida, you've changed.
A
Martha,
lot.
you've changed. And I'm like, yes,
Yes.
yes, I have. You're absolutely right.
Thank you for
And I
recognizing.
thank you for recognizing because I love this new version of me. And guess what? I'm going to continue to change. But Zoraida, the sad part is exactly what you said a few minutes ago, which is people wanted me to stay the same.
Yeah.
And you cannot um, elevate, be enlightened, any of those things and stay the same.
Okay.
And that means that those that want you to stay the same will be shed, will be released. They no longer can hold that space in your time, in your life, in your world, right? We as we become our best, the best version of ourselves, and we elevate, we will be required to let go of things and people and circumstances and events that no longer serve us. And often it's those people, what it can even be family, as you and I both know. Sometimes family are the people that want to keep us chained to our past because
Then the most,
that's a
actually.
shame. You want to talk about that? I don't
Yeah.
want you to take all of the garbage out of the closets and all of the, yeah,
There's
what?
guilt and there's shame there. And then they're also saying, well, why am I not making a shift? Right? And then it's the, who do you think you are? You think you're better than us? I
Mm,
mean, like you, I've had to shed family members. I've had to remove people. And look, it doesn't have to be an argument, doesn't even have to be a conversation. Sometimes there are, right? Sometimes there are arguments. Sometimes there are conversations. But a season, a reason, a lifetime. You don't have to be tied to someone when it doesn't serve you. So right now, I'm releasing 3 people from my life. I love them, but we're just not on the same wavelength. And so, as you mentioned, I want to put my time and energy with people who are more aligned like me because there's some stuff that I'm doing and want to do, and I need and want those people around me right? So I've got to make space for that.
Yep. Yep.
But most importantly, I can't be around the negativity. I just couldn't. I can't be, or I just can't because and then I have to remind myself, if and when they ever get enlightened, that's on them. That has nothing to do with me. It's not my job to
Right.
fix anyone or teach anyone because I'm a teacher by nature. It's
Mhm.
not my job.
No. Making space is
It's making space
intentional.
is not a bad thing.
It's intentional. And we cannot just keep taking and taking and taking and letting it, like, eventually you run out of space, you run out of energy, you run out of time, right?
Yeah,
So making space is intentional, and you have to release the things that are holding you back
yeah,
in order to step into the things that you're called for. And the way that I've seen it on my journey is that we're in seasons. All of us go through seasons, just like the creator created, winter, spring, summer, and fall, the
yeah,
seasons, right? So is our life. Our life is broken into seasons. Some people are meant to be in every season from start to finish. Some join us for a short season. Some, join us for a longer season.
yeah,
So I don't get angry or upset when somebody's season has run out with me,
yeah.
because I know that that's making space for something else. Like
Hmm.
you mentioned miscarriage. I also experienced a miscarriage, and that was a very tough season for me,
Yeah,
right? And I felt when you said those words, like I had to make the choice. Is this a trigger, or can I just hold this as a shared experience, right? And I just held it as a shared experience. But also there's seasons of divorce. You and I are both divorced, right? We both had long marriages and then walked away because it was no longer going to allow us to elevate and do the things we were called to do. So there's a lot of seasons that can be painful, but the lessons that I learned through my miscarriage, through my divorce, through my healing journey have all brought me to this divine moment. And so I have zero regrets.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And let me share a quote that I read that also shifted things for me and helped me make the decision to end a 24-year marriage while taking chemo. And here's what I read. I don't know where I can't, I probably on social media or somewhere. And it was Nipsey Hussle. And he said, if you look at your circle and you're not inspired, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And I was like, what? Oh my God. How did, again, divine timing that I saw that because I was in the season of devoting to self. And I was like, I think I need a divorce. Now, let me just say that because I was devoting to self wasn't the reason why I decided to get a divorce, right? But without, I, I want to be respectful and I want to say that, especially as women, when a woman is asking for a divorce, this conversation in her head has been happening for years. This is not
Hi
just
for
a
me.
thing that just
Yeah.
comes up,
Yeah.
right? Because I know that when women ask for a divorce is different when a man asks for a divorce. When a man asks for a divorce, everyone is going, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And then they're wondering, "Oh, she wasn't a really good wife anyway. She didn't always cook or she didn't always clean or whatever." But when a man asks for a divorce, what do people tell you? Oh, you're better off without him. Either way, you're not getting support.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, when I was in that season of I'm not being taken care of in the way I want to be taken care of. I'm not loved in the way I want to be loved. I actually was afraid for my life. And that's all I'm going to say. And so when I saw that, when I read that, I said, oh my God, yes, to me, because I had asked Source to give me a sign. Give me a sign that I'm doing the right thing, because I've been with this man for almost 25 years, like, you know, and I've known him most of my life, and my children and my friends, and what are people going to say? And I went into that people pleasing. What are people going to say? And I'm going to look like the villain. And I was the villain as far as most of them were concerned. But it was that quote that hit me hard. And I said to myself, you've got to be authentic, right? Authenticity is one of the core values that I have, one of the top 3. I was like, I can't be me and be in this relationship, because I am not getting what I need. So yeah, you've got to surround, if you want a different outcome, look at the people around you and see if you are inspired, or are you being told, who do you think you are? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you're of a certain age. I mean, I started my company at 59 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I became an entrepreneur at 59. And I've been breaking cycles with my family history ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, you know what I say? Let them. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. In your faith walk, or when you were truly in a space of devotion to self, we have nothing to prove. Our life, our impact, the way that we operate speaks for everything. It's the actions, right? Like, we don't have to convince anybody that we're growing or elevating or changing, and we don't owe anybody an explanation. Our life in the way that we show up will always speak louder than any of the words that we can say to convince anybody else. And so I think that's a beautiful place to pause, because we are out of time for this
Oh,
episode. I know it goes so fast, but I'm so grateful that you're going to join me again next week for another episode, because I'm not done talking to you. We have so much more to uncover and to inspire and encourage. So I'm going to pause here, and I just want to say thank you so much for being on Let Glory Shine. And I'm so excited to continue this conversation next week.
thank
Thank
you.
you for being here for this episode of Let Glory Shine. Like I said, Zoraida Morales will be with us again next week. So please join us, same place, same station. And we look forward to continuing this amazing conversation. Good night, y'all.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a